Hi, I'm Mike Olson, and in this UPS short take, I'll be working with the Alpha RBMS Remote Battery Monitoring System. Now, one of the first things you need to do to get this system on your network is you need to work with a program called Telnet, which is built into every Windows machine. But first we need to enable it, and then we can get into Telnet and we can do some basic setup for this system. Pretty much the Telnet settings in this system are set it up and then forget about it because you're probably never going to go back into it again. The rest of the settings are done through a web browser. All right, so let's get to it. I'll show you how this is done. So to set this up on your Windows machine, what you want to do is click the Start button in the lower left corner and then type in Windows Features. And then the search will then bring it right up. And then you'll find this window pop up here, Windows Features. Scroll down to the T's to get to Telnet Client. Go ahead and check that and click OK. Then a few seconds later, it will be installed on your system and then you're ready to go. The next step is to again click that Start button in the lower left corner and now type in the word Run and then hit Enter and you'll see this window pop up right here. Okay. Now be sure to have the unit powered up, connected to its batteries, power source, and then also connected to your laptop computer with an Ethernet cable. Okay. And then type in this command just as you see it, telnet space 192.168.0.91. That's the default IP address of the unit. Then type in space and then 9999. That's the port. Then hit OK and then hit Enter right away because it's going to come up with a little dark screen and it's looking for the Telnet password. There isn't one by default, so you just hitting Enter gets you right into the menu system. Okay, which looks like this. Okay, there's a few things that we want to set up for sure. The server setup, that gets us to the configuration for IP address of the unit so it can go onto your network. You may want to do SNMP settings. There's also email, there's NTP, and then lastly, number 9, save changes and reset. So let's go through each of those, starting with the first one, item number 0. So you would just type in 0 and then enter. Then it's going to look like this. It's going to bring you then the different octets for the IP address currently in it. So it's showing you my address of 10.0.0 and then 91. Yours is going to be default 192. So it's going to present you with each octet individually. And if you're good with what it presents you with, just hit Enter. If you'd like to change it, type in the 3 numbers and then hit Enter. Don't type in period. It doesn't need that. It knows that it's already got that. Okay, once you've done that on the first set, it's going to present you with the second octet. Again, if you're good with it, hit Enter. If not, type in your 3 numbers, and then the third octet, and the fourth octet. And then it's going to take you to this and say, set gateway IP address. Yes, Y for yes. Okay. And then go through and do the same thing to set up your gateway IP address, 1 octet at a time, typing in your 3 numbers for each octet as you go. Okay. Then the next question it's going to say is net mask. And now it's looking for something different. We're used to typing in the numbers, perhaps 255, 255, 255, and 0. It doesn't do it that way. It's a little bit different. It's got this table that we see off to the right. It's looking for the bit value of that. And so find your net mask then on this table here. Okay. And then I'll get out of the way so you can see the last one there, which is 255, 255, 0, and 0. Okay, which would be 16. Common ones, well, there's, I guess, a lot of these. Any of these could be used. So go ahead, find your net mask and type that value in here, hit Enter. Then it lastly gives you the option to change that Telnet password if you wanted to. If you want to, put in Y and then put the Telnet password in that you want to save. Don't lose it. Make sure you write it down. Next is item 5, email. So type in 5 and let's set it up so you can get email from the device. Okay. So first thing it's looking for is the server name of your mail server. It could be the name, or you can put in the actual IP address. Chances are you don't need username or password, but if you find that you do, that's where you would put them. Then you have up to 3 email addresses that you can send to. If you need more than that, you're going to need to set up a forwarding address on your mail server. Okay. And then if your mail server requires a valid from address, go ahead and put that in here. It may need that for authentication. IT can tell you if that's needed or not. Then you've got DNS addresses. This is very important, especially if you put a name in for the server name so it can find it on your network. Be sure to get your primary and secondary DNS addresses on there. All right. And then you're all set for email. Of course, test it as well. Okay. Next setup is item number 6, NTP, Network Time Protocol. Now the RBMS, as far as time goes, I don't think it's very important because it's time stamping when it takes a reading. It takes it every 24 hours and battery readings don't change very quickly. So whether it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, doesn't really matter. You're just looking for those values and when they change. But the RBMS does have pre-programmed into it a primary server NTP address for an internet time clock, okay? Chances are it's not getting out of your network to be able to access that, which means it's going to come up with an error. And about every 75 minutes when it hits this and it can't get out, it's going to reset the unit, which can get kind of annoying. So to get around that, simply either put in a valid server address for your NTP on your network, okay? Or go ahead and put in all zeros for the primary server, 00000, and then that will stop it from trying to get out, which means it will no longer reset. If you do set it up for your network and your time clock, it's also going to be looking for the offset off of GMT, and that is behind me here. Jump out of the way. So you can find your local time offset of GMT and then put that in here, and then you're going to have your NTP settings all set. All right. Next, and lastly, as far as the Telnet setup goes, is you need to save changes and reset. That would be item number 9. You must do this or else it doesn't hard save it to the unit. You've just simply made the changes and then it will go away. So be sure to do 9, save those changes and reset, and then you can go ahead and log in and make the other changes. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out my other short takes videos.